Well, hey there. Welcome to Southridge this morning and happy Labor Day weekend. If you're expecting an online service this morning, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but want to explain a little bit as to why we're trying something different today. For the past month, we've been sensing lately in our church that many of us have been going from what we call the battlefield of the pandemic back to the treadmill of kind of post-pandemic life and the furious pace without any recovery in between, leaving a lot of us kind of exhausted or even burnt out. And so we've wanted to spend this last month caring for ourselves in a series that we've called Soul Care, a soul being representative of our very essence, our very being. And we've been discovering this month that soul care or self-care isn't selfish. It's actually the way that we bring our fullest selves to loving God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and loving our neighbor as ourselves, because we're caring for ourselves. And after learning about that in the first week, we discovered how to kind of diagnose where our souls are at and what we can do about them to care for them. We began to face the reality that no one can take responsibility for our soul care, for the care of ourselves and the filling of our own tank other than ourselves. And in embracing that responsibility last week, we looked at this idea of a rule of life, the way to structure our lives for ongoing rhythms of caring for our souls so that we can live in tank-filled ways. And after a month of talking about soul care, we decided on Labor Day weekend, instead of launching into a brand new series, to just take a moment and try to practice it. And so in each of our Southridge locations in person today, we're doing nothing more than gathering together to experience essentially good old-fashioned church picnics, where we can be together, enjoy the gift that God's given us in each other, soak in some great weather, and just kind of love on each other with some fun and games and food, and just enjoy the value of community in a way that can fill our souls. Now, practically speaking, if you're tapping into this online recording before 10:30 on Sunday morning, I want to invite you to join in on one of these, especially at our Welland location, or if you're from St. Catharines, at Burgoyne Woods. Instead of our St. Catharines location, we're meeting at 10:30 at Burgoyne Woods. Or if you're from Vineland or from another location but aren't around on Sunday morning, you can catch our Vineland gathering at 6 p.m. on Sunday evening. But in each of these cases, we're going to gather as local Southridge communities to collectively experience an environment where we can care for our souls, which, not coincidentally, is kind of what the Labor Day holiday was designed to be about in the first place. To kind of take a refuge from the grind of work and to celebrate, sort of birthed out of the Tommy Douglas era, this vision of an 8-hour workday, of 8 hours of work, 8 hours of play, 8 hours of rest. And so again, even the Labor Day weekend is intended to be an investment in the care for our souls. Now, if you can't join us in person, if you're catching this video later in the week, or if you happen to be at a campsite or a cottage, or just in your pajamas at home and you don't want to leave your house, we'd still really invite you to use this weekend and some time this weekend to practically experience the value of soul care, to maybe go back and take in some of the services and some of the talks from our August series, and to reflect on steps that you can take to care for your soul, or more practically, to create some space. Maybe, set aside a quiet time, or go for a walk, or experience nature, or coordinate some close community where you can enjoy a great meal or some riveting conversation, and make some investments into your soul, and make some investments in the way that you're going to care for your soul in the coming season. We're really excited starting next week about our kickoff Sunday and our launch into our fall ministry season. I would want to make the note for all of you who are considering coming back in person next week that our service times are going to change to 10:30 a.m. at all of our Southridge locations starting next week, September 11th. So if you could make that note, that would be great. But in advance of that, knowing that we don't just want to be people who go from the battlefield of the pandemic back to the treadmill of every day and back to school or back to the grind kind of life, but the kind of people who are actively caring for our souls, for ourselves, for our very essence, not in a selfish way, but in a primary way that allows us to bring our full selves of love to God and love for people. We hope that you'll take some time this weekend to set aside some time to reflect on how you could do that to a greater degree, and how you could make greater investments in the care of your soul, and even practically experience some soul care this weekend, so that starting next week, we can launch into our fall ministry season with full tanks as full selves, ready to love God with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love our neighbor as we're loving ourselves. So we wish you a great Labor Day weekend and pray that you're able to take some time to care for your soul this weekend. Take care.